will happen.
Somebody has the mirror.
Looks
somewhere.
good?
Your big reveal is there.
Yes, stand up and take 5. A local 706 union makeup artist, and I don't know if you guys are going into the film industry and all that stuff. A lot of you guys are. So I turned union, I don't know, God. Well, my show flipped, so I went union that way. But I was going in as a makeup head, and the brow thing just kind of happened just because I was always doing grooming on set. So that's what you're gonna do when you are coming in for hair. You are going to be basically the person that has to do everything. So even though maybe it's not your department, if you're coming in a non-union film, they're going to want you to move the hair out of that person's face, keep continuity, make sure that the shadow looks right, make sure the brows look right, make sure that everything as far as aesthetics, even if you're coming in his hair, is going to be your responsibility. So if the girl goes like this in one scene, shows an extension like I just did maybe right now, but that's your job to correct that. So the eyebrow thing came because I was always doing eyebrows on set on everyone. So like a lot of the directors were coming in like, hey, I have this big party tonight. Can you do some male grooming? Male grooming is a huge part of your business. So please don't let go of the guys. The guys are going to keep you busy, give money in your pocket every week, and feed your families. So stop like, oh my God, I can't do guys. No, you want to do guys. Trust. I have a huge male clientele, perfected. So right now I'm just going to clean the skin really fast, and on my finger I put a little antiseptic. It is hydrocortisone cream. And you asked me why I put hydrocortisone cream. It is because it's an anti-inflammatory. If you put, like some people put an alcohol, or you put hand sanitizer. I've seen that happen a couple times. A lot of people find different things. Those are all adding heat to the skin. You want to basically burn out any kind of potential heat that could happen and raise to the surface of your skin. So let me clean that. Did I get a trash can?
Yeah, it's ready.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so here comes this. And there's a difference between someone just being a waxer and then being a brow artist. Like you guys are hairstylists, you guys are makeup artists, you guys are an artist, you have your spin, you have your technique, and you find your perfecting way to go out and get yourself out there. There's a lot of people that go out there and just put a full tongue compressor on their wax and then put it over their whole brow. That's a waxer. That's just a speed waxer. That's just going in there, taking off hair, removing it as fast as you can, and getting your service down in about 15 minutes. And I'll do that. Basically, I find the angle of the brow and where it sits on your face, and then now we have to reshape it. A lot of people, most of the time, their brows are sitting way above their brow bone. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm doing the method of the golden ratio. So, beginning of your brow, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut to the bottom of the nostril to the end. That's the end of your brow. That's where it sits directly on it. So now you're gonna lay your brush from the angle, the little crease between your nose where the nostril starts, to right to the hairline, and then that is the actual peak of your brow. That is the golden ratio. Da Vinci studied it, he did it. Basically, that's where Anastasia made her billions of dollars off of the Da Vinci method. So, I guess the dawn of time, and basically the aesthetics of man. And so, anything that you see aesthetic-wise that makes people look youthful is fullness. If you have fullness for the rest of your life, you'll always have youth on your side. If you start taking and pulling the hair away from the brow bone and moving it, now you're shifting basically the aesthetic of your face, and you're changing your actual nature of your face. Why is beauty so youthful? Being natural. That's what we always look at in the magazines, like, oh my God, the natural brows and the fullness. She's got a beautiful natural brow sitting on her face. Would I go in there right now as a waxer and want to take all that hair off? No, because that would just make her look a little older, a little more harsh. She won't look as youthful. This is her face for the rest of her life. Why would I want to go in there and mess it up? A lot of people do, because a lot of people don't know what they're doing. They go in there and just start taking hair. They don't actually know the art of this. So, the placement of wax. Some people go in there and, like I said, do strokes over the whole length of the brow. Why would we not do that?
Some definition.
Exactly. The brow is in different shapes. So why would we just go and put a straight line over the whole thing and just make one solid line now? No, she's completely linear. She has no actual definition to her face. So, also, these are the best things in the whole entire world. I would go out and spend a fortune on applicators, and I'd just buy it with one and a little stick, and I'd never use the stick, and I would go through these like crazy. Oh my god, I can't even think of the name of it right now, but these are at Cosmoprof, and they're dual. And so what I do is I just lay my waxed one down, leave this not touching, pick it up, now I have a whole other clean applicator. Save myself so much money and so much of waste that I was always wasting on wood sticks. So now we're gonna go into the actual line above. Oh, I just completely, here, I'll do it on the other one. I just sort of down the wax, because when you put that muslin over it and you start pushing it down very lightly, you can push it into the hairline, and then when you rip, you can basically see your whole brow goodbye. So you want to give yourself a little bit of a buffer, and then lightly apply the muslin over. And you don't need a lot of wax. About that. Can you see? Can you guys watch me?
When you do this eyebrow, can you turn?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Can you all see her? Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is the inside. You want this as straight as possible, because this basically does all your work for you. When you get this line crisp, you don't have to go back in and re-tweeze or do anything, and you can get it all in one fell swoop. So lay the muslin, get it, basically all the row, all the little extras got removed, but her row is completely clean and precise. Ah, my thing fell. There it goes. Okay, so now the middles. Everyone kind of goes a little crazy with the middles of where it starts. If you see your line of where you marked her, you're gonna basically, it's like a little goalie. You're gonna go right between your markings. And you don't need to go into the brow, you just want to kind of get in the middle, and then everything else you can get with your sterilized tweezer.
Can you turn it this way before you?
No problem, no problem. Okay. And go. So the way that you lay wax, it's pretty obvious, but some people don't know, because a lot of people have curves in their brows, especially right in here. A lot of Asian, a lot of Middle Eastern cultures, their brows kind of got to intercept and kind of curl in the middle, right in here. You want to get the middle and then start trimming those hairs so they fan out kind of straight. We don't really have that with her, but a lot of clients over time you will see, and then you'll kind of get a little bit more precise with that. So in laying wax, you have hair growing this way, you go in the direction of the hair, and then you rip opposite.
Have you ever tried sugaring?
I have not. I've seen it. I am not that impressed. Is that what you do?
No, just like a.
Sorry. Keep on talking to me.
Just a general question, because it's popular now, and like it has. People say that after you use it a while, your hair won't grow back and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. You're gonna grow back though. No, exactly. So here's the myth. These things are not working and I'm telling you, there's a lot of folklore out there. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, it dates down threading is a very, very old art, and it's passed down from a lot of generations before them. So I learned from girls that had learned from their grandmothers and then learned from their mothers. So there's a lot of folklore that goes with these services. If the sugaring is gonna say that the hair never comes back, first, you don't have a client coming back to you. So right there, you just basically shot yourself in both feet because now you don't have a potential customer. And the fact is the hair will come back, so that person's gonna think you're a liar. Because all it takes is that one time, you're just like, oh, I promise you the hair's never coming back. That customer will call you and say, my hair's coming back. What's up with your product? And now you don't look credible. Don't be that person. Be honest, be like, this is a service. I'm gonna remove all the hair right now. You're gonna have beautiful brows. Sorry.
The key is just to do your research. Whenever you hear something like that, just, do your research. Unless you shock it and close it. You can't damage the follicle though.
So like laser?
Yeah, laser will damage the follicle. It will close it.
You're gonna get little strings with your wax. Get comfortable with them. They fly in my face all the time.
When you put down the muslin, are you rubbing it in a particular direction, like in the direction of hair growth, and then pulling it against hair
Correct. So I lay the wax in the direction of where the hair is growing. Pull the opposite.
growth? How about when you're rubbing your muslin?
I just literally put it
Or just
on
tap it
and
down.
then just tap it down. You don't want to rub it because when you rub it, that starts pushing the wax up, and then the second that you, because I saw a girl do it, I'm like, watch your muslin, and she did it, and her hand was so tough, pushed the muslin, and the second she took the rip, all her brow was gone. She literally only had like a little bit of the top. And I had to sit there and I'm like, okay, I'm the educator, so now I gotta correct this. So, it happens all the time. I too have had my ass handed to me in this profession. A girl, she moved, she shifted. Oh, this is the best story ever. Okay, so I had a very, very, very busy counter at Nordstrom's Topanga, right over here. And I was the lead artist over there. The counter manager wanted me there. I was the account coordinator, and she's like, I want Jonelle to be the full-timer here. And I thought it was very strange. So I became the full-timer in a matter of a day. I got demoted from my position as account coordinator, which was fine because I was sick of driving. Hate driving. All I do is drive. I live in Ohio, people. Okay, so I get to work. This is a little, basically my antiseptic to close up the follicle. And all of this is micellar water. It's, I think, all-in-one. It removes and refreshes lips, eyes, face. This is my favorite thing in the whole entire world. Everyone's always like, oh, what do you buy? 99-cent store. Really good stuff. 99-cent store. And then I get this at CVS.
What brand?
This is Garnier. Yeah, right. So you're gonna spend all of $8 today, and you're gonna have a whole new profession. Okay, so I go to work. This client, that was my coworkers, who now became my client, had just gotten her hair done. Didn't want to recline, so she wanted to sit upright, like the way we're doing right now. I did her eyebrows. Everything's fine. Basically, she shifted while I was taking this brush to her. And mine was like eaten alive because they hadn't given me a new one. And there was all a metal exposed right here, right? So she felt her hair was being weird for a second, so she launched herself up, pushing me to go back, and this basically now impaled my eye. True story. The whole thing was cut, and I threw water on it, and then the second the girl's like, I see the mascara in your eye in the laceration, I'm like, this profession is a very interesting one. I don't understand how that happened, but my customer was happy, She didn't get her hair ruined or anything. So positioning your client and to you is very, very, very important. Me, I would like her a little reclined down. I can do this now because I learned the hard way of doing her upright. But most of the time when you're doing brows, it's always easier to lay them down and see those lines. So right now, I'm going to trim her brows. I want to go, can you guys see? I want to comb the hair up like you're giving a really good haircut. So I want to leave all that meat in there and I just want the extra, just giving it a trim. So, oh, I'm sorry guys, apologize. I'm going to trim straight across. Anastasia herself would be like doing in a circle. She'd always go, darling, hold on. And she just cut around like that. It looked good, but it looked like a basketball. So I would always go a little bit more straight. Can you guys see? Guys see? Guys see? Guys see? And look, I didn't really have to do a whole lot. The brow is already there for me. Like everything was kind of already set in stone. Everything's already kind of set in motion. A person who doesn't know what they're doing would go in and massacre these beautiful eyebrows and make her thin and make her age and all of these things just because they're giving her a service. Is that an art? No. It's just taking your money. Okay. Sorry, you have a little cotton on you. So, same thing through the course of her whole brow. The peaks is where you really want to be good because the peaks, if you start trimming, basically you just took the whole arch out and then you'll start seeing a bald spot and then you have to sell that person a pencil or a powder to start going in and filling it in. But I don't have to. All her hair is there. I'm just going to trim, trim, trim around it. This is where you kind of would go in a little bit more of a circular fashion. Tail, don't cut in this way because then you can start cutting off. Sorry guys. You're cutting into the hair and then you'll start seeing the tail is a very easy way to expose a shoddy job. You want to keep as much length as possible. I just have a couple long hairs to get and then let it comb. And now, there, voila. We don't have a lot to tweeze, but I am going to go back and tweeze a couple. But the wax did all the job for me. Can you see it, Miss Lahami? My SD mommy? Okay. Do. And with the brow, especially with the Anastasia brow, it goes in a wave. So you start out a little bit more fluffy right here, and then you kind of go into more of a curl. So this is all covered, and her arch is solid. It doesn't look streaky or anything. And then it goes into a really smooth tail. People that don't wax behind, even if you trim and you make this all precise, it still looks dark and cloudy behind. So you don't really see a definite between the brow and the hairline. So that's why it's always important to kind of coat around.
Are you holding the hairs with your thumb?
I am. So I am moving my scissor and cutting with this hand, and I just hold. It's kind of however you find your method with when you cut hair, which more power to you. I cut 7 girls' hair and then I cried every time I did it. So you guys are kicking butt in that world. So comb the hair a little away from the face and then just trim very lightly around it. How's it look? Does it look even? Does she look like one's circular, one's more square? Because that can happen very fast. You could have 2 different shaped eyebrows within seconds too. Let me get that one hair. And I'm only working off of my other little side SMA over here with my tools that I'm contaminating over here. I have a large SMA of all my supplies, but I'm only working solely off this one. So I know this is for this customer. I'll throw it all away. I'll disinfect my stencil, and then everything else will be thrown away. Okay, so after that, I'm going to pick up my tweezer and my little mascara wand. It's a pretty easy life as far as quantity with the amount of supplies that you need as being a brow artist. You don't really need to inundate yourself with too much. Get a really good wax. Get a really good tweezer, a really good scissor. Let me get on this side.
Do you have any drag queen clientele?
Drag queen? Yes, I do. I do.
Do they usually want their brows shaped in a specific way, or do you?
No, funny enough, they want as full and natural of a brow as possible. Because also, most of the time, they can wax their eyebrows down when they're doing their makeup. So right now, when I'm tweezing the brow, I come into the side of the hair. I don't know if you guys can see this. I kind of lift up the skin a little to kind of get a little bit more of a leverage, to make it a little more taut, and then I kind of coat around and pull up the hair. So, standard tweezing, everyone can do it. But some people kind of go straight on. Your customer knows temperament. Your customer will know if they walk out bloody or they walk out with a little scab on themselves. They'll be like, wow, that girl was like crazy, or that guy was like in a rush and like, you know, blistered my whole skin, and now I have a date and now I'm all self-conscious about this little scab on my eyebrow. So be precise. You are using sharp tools to people's faces, directly to their eyes. So don't be rushed and go in a really precise manner. Okay, so I go back to my trusty little micellar water again. Again, I do have stock in this stuff, love it. I clean off the surface to really see my line. She's not really red, but I am gonna cover that and conceal it. So this is what I really wanted to get my paws in with you guys. Please, please, please stop with the pomades and stop with the 1,000 colored everything on your eyebrows. It doesn't look good. It doesn't. If you have beautiful brows, you only need a little bit of product to make your brow pop. You don't need all the bells and whistles of the 5,000 pomades and all the other stuff. Anastasia herself would smack me, but it was too much. It was a lot. So I don't know if you guys use the pomades and all the things, but for her, the brow speaks for itself. We just want a little pencil. Okay. So I'm just putting on a little brow pencil.
What color is it?
This is a soft brown Brow Wiz from Anastasia. And I'm going in just kind of the nook. I don't know if you can see. The nook of where her sparseness is. She doesn't need really anything other than a couple little strokes in that area. I'm not going to really go into the actual beginning of her brow, except for maybe just a little spot right in the front. Kind of sharpen this line. Same thing right over here. And say I have a client with a significant more sparseness of her. I still would not go into the pomades and to the brow gels and to the powders and to all of this stuff. I would go in with one product. Most of the time for me, it would be this Brow Wiz to show the client the potential of the brow that we're going to. So you want alcohol before, alcohol after. Now you can place down your products on your station. I'm going back to my little mascara wand and we're just gonna blend. Blend, blend, blend. Blending is everything. I didn't go through the brow and start adding all this product. I made a precise line to give her definition, and now I'm going to move it around so it just looks like one solid brow. Yes.
Did you do the precise line on the underside? Is that what you did?
Yes, but I don't need to go through the whole thing. I just needed to go through those little hairs right there and blend through just to kind of, because usually the beginning of your brows is where everything kind of gets sparse, and the tails are also an indicator of your client. If their tail is going away over time and you start seeing it rapidly just kind of going away, they may have a thyroid condition, or they might have, there's a lot of things you can tell through a person's brows that I'll notice. Also, people whip themselves while they sleep, so it takes off a lot of their tails also on their pillow. Like, I'm back and forth all night also, and also stress is a huge indicator of where your brows will thin out and go away. A good product that I tell my clients to get is Black Jamaican castor oil, something that maybe you guys want in your arsenal too, on Amazon for $11. You can grow all your brows, lashes, and your hairline. Right now what I'm doing is I'm prepping myself to put a little highlight underneath my client right now. There's a matte and there's a shimmer, and I'll show you guys that in a second. You are going into the brow world and you need something to tell your clients, because you want to start getting their brows back, and they're going to you. Like, you're there now, their person. So as a hairstylist, all these things, take your tools and then work it into your life. So people will trust you, people will know you're not lying, you're not trying to sell them products, you sell them things that actually work. Black Jamaican castor oil works. I always start telling my clients, take a before and after, take the mascara wand, start using it, and in 3 weeks you will start seeing your lashes basically start amplifying and multiplying in front of you. Okay, so now I'm gonna hold her brow down with my finger up here, and I'm gonna kind of take this matte, sorry guys, and I'm going to work it underneath her brow bone. So, same thing over here. Can you guys see it? I'm sorry. So, just a little, we're not going over the whole entire thing. We just really want to accent the highlight of that brow. Now this is a little shimmer, a little gold. Place it directly over it. And then, with this trusty guy,
Would you use like your natural brow routine on a special event or just on your regular days? How would you like put?
well, this is the thing. Consumers they don't leave, like a lot of girls don't leave their house without their brows done.
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll like axe the makeup, but they'll get their brows done. So this is just an easy way. If they already have a natural great brow defined by yours truly, all you need to do is now tell them, like, all you need is maybe a little brow pencil, a little clear brow gel, and then this could be something that you can implement to your client when they're like, feeling a little fancy, like an add-on. But this is actually going to be a lot more aesthetically pleasing than going and putting all that makeup on. So, can you guys see? I'm going to carve out her brow right now with this product. Same thing. Brow does all the work for you. Keep things simple, keep things natural. If you start showing girls a natural, full, beautiful brow, what did you just do? So you transformed them. Keep things simple. You did. So now from the heat of my finger, I'm going and I'm just adding a little. Sorry guys. This is just a little Anastasia
And you
concealer.
don't use any powder?
Most of the time, I mean I can,
Yeah.
but I like the Brow Wiz because it gives me those sharp lines. Powder is someone I would say maybe someone a little younger, like a younger consumer that doesn't really need a whole lot. So just put a little powder on the tails, you know, whatever, call it a day. I mean, you could use the powder, and I would tell a customer how to use that powder in different ways. Like you can use it as a dark shadow, you can use it as a liner, you can use it as a brow filler. But as far as for me, the best tool to add is just a Brow Wiz, get a couple of little strokes in there, and then buff it out. And everything with this world is less is more. The less you go in there and really start tearing with makeup and doing all this stuff, the skin just was waxed. So the skin is a very, it's at a very like vulnerable state right now. You want to be as soft with it as possible. So you don't want to go in there and really tear up everything. But like I said, if you start seeing a huge red mark and then you try to put concealer over that, it's not going to work. You'll just watch that concealer just basically ripple off. And you'll be at that skin over and over and over again. So then at that time, leave it alone. Then that's the time when you should not be touching the skin because it's too raw. Don't put any heat on it. Don't add a brush to it. Leave it alone. I would tell my client, put a little antiseptic on it and then stay out of the sun. Someone is taking to happen.
Somebody has the mirror.
Looks
somewhere.
good. Oh.
Your big reveal is there.
Yes, stand up and take 5 steps.